where I wouldn't do for a Wentworth.
Hello Wanderers, and welcome back to the Outer Worlds.
Here they come! Woo! We made it!
After finishing a quest for Silas the Gravedigger, we're moving on to taking care of the mechanical scout mentioned by our eccentric friend Ludwig. But first, we have a question for Parvati.
Where are we headed?
You mentioned something back in town.
You mean why I'm not allowed in the store anymore?
There seems to be a story there.
There was a kind of a thing with a vending machine when I was 12.
Did you steal from it or something?
Not intentionally. I've always been good with my hands, right? So I saw a lock on the machine and thought, oh, this must be how they refill it. But I had to know. So I did my thing, and next thing I know, there's a couple hundred bottles of 0G rolling out the front door and into the road.
Oh no.
It's not funny. Right about then, a bunch of loaders came rolling in the gate, fresh off the Saltuna ships. And Mr. Thompson was up on the porch making a speech about how everyone would have to volunteer a third shift to get it all canned. Anyhow, you ever seen an auto loader run over a bottle of 0G?
Go on.
Exploded all over Mr. Thompson. One bottle after another as the loaders went by. I was just shy of working age, so Dad had to pay all the damages. Rose still angry at me. I can laugh about it now, but I just about puked up my guts in terror in the moment. That's the one time I ever made Mr. Thompson look a fool.
Let's get back to it. She did her thing. Parvati's powers sound pretty unique. It'll be interesting to see what she can actually do with them in the future. According to its Halcyon map description, Terra 2 is an idyllic terrestrial planet. Halcyon's wealthiest elite live in the capital city, Byzantium, while the colony's laborers live in the corporate-owned townships along the frontier, such as Edgewater. Halcyon is the solar system which we're currently exploring. It is the frontier of the colonized galaxy. Due to its exploitable resources on a terraformed planet with a viable atmosphere conducive to Earth-like habitations for humans, it has become the target of development projects by massive corporation conglomerates. This solar system is comprised of 2 planets, several moons, and asteroids. Several space stations of differing factions are also found in this area. We finally reached the junkyard where Ludwig asked us to find the scout. Bingo! Although he doesn't seem like a bad guy.
He ain't no threat. Bet I could fix him up smart.
Searching for repair bay. Error. Navigation systems failed. Unable to comply.
I could probably fix that. I mean, if you wanted me to.
Hang on a second, I'm not sure.
Take your time. You need help, just give a yell. Metaphorical yell. If you yell for reals, you're liable to spook them.
Go ahead. Fix him up, Parvati.
Yep, I see the problem. His nav mod got dislodged. Must have taken a tumble. Just gotta give it a good push and wait for the click. There we go. Jeremy's good as new. Well, new by Spacer's Choice standards anyhow. His name's Jeremy, by the way.
Navigation systems operational. Optimal path toward repair bay detected. Initiating self-diagnostics.
Parvati, why did you name the mechanical?
On account of I fixed him. And he's Jeremy on account of his helmet. It's like Jeremy, the officer in True Romantic Tales of the Space Guard.
Is that an etherwave cereal or something?
Surely. I make a point to watch every Tuesday night. Be more careful out there, Jeremy.
Alright, after taking care of Jeremy, we should be able to return back to Ludwig and see what he has for us as a reward. You don't have to worry about that scout anymore.
You beat that scout to scrap with its own legs? Pulled its optic cables out its head case? Actually, don't tell me. Rather use my imagination. You're a passing fair soldier, I will confess. But you are one, and the enemy is legion. What you need is an equalizer, a weapon to strike fear in their cold, mechanical hearts. Cantina, lavatory, behind one of the toilets. That's where I've kept it hidden all these years.
You hid your secret weapon in a lavatory.
Sharp, ain't it? The lavatory is the very last place a mechanical has need to enter.
I'll let you know when I find it.
On the double, soldier. Don't want the bartender poking around in there with a mop.
Surely enough, when we head to the Edgewater Cantina, we find a package labeled Ludwig's Bundle tucked behind the latrine. A note attached to the package reads, "If found, please return to Ludwig Miller at the landing pad. Thanks." The modification we receive from this package is actually going to be super useful when we visit the geothermal plant and have to knock out some robots. This bundle will provide us with the Mag-2 Zap ranged weapon module, which modifies the weapon's damage to a shock type. I found the package you mentioned.
Feast your eyes, soldier. This here is a genuine Spacer's Choice injury customizing unit, designed to deliver a lethal blast of electrical discharge. I call it the Hand of the Law. You ever want to see a mechanical flailing around like a grounded fish? You stick a couple thousand volts in its guts. With compliments from old Ludwig.
How do I use this injury customizing unit exactly?
There's a workbench right through this door. Attach that unit to your favorite weapon and go forth into glorious battle. Time's come for you to journey down into the black heart of the enemy's camp. I'm talking about the old geothermal plant. Unfortunately, the old plant lies outside my board-given jurisdiction. You'll need to get a passcode from the boss, Reed Thompson.
Don't worry about that. I've already got a passcode from Reed.
I've been after a passcode for years. Boss said no on account of my gross incompetence with all matters related to security. I need you to get us the brain of a mechanical. Well, not exactly a brain. Anatomically speaking, what we're looking for is a logic module.
Seems simple enough.
If you die horribly, I will pour out a can of 0G to your memory.
Okay, thank you, Ludwig.
Go on.
Next up, we'll head back to town and see what kind of work is waiting for us there.
Spacer's Choice, the brand of choice for spacers on a budget.
I've got a question for you.
Go right ahead.
Anyone I should watch out for?
Amelia. Definitely Amelia Kim. I advise against stepping foot in her drinking establishment altogether. Word is, they're gonna replace her with an automechanical barkeep. She's... what's the word? Obsolete. You don't want to associate yourself with that kind of person.
Never mind. Goodbye.
Plague got you feeling woozy? Get yourself boozy with Spacer's Choice.
Just felt like chatting.
Go ahead.
So what's your story?
I don't see how that's any of your business.
I'm not trying to judge you. I'm just curious.
You're the first to ask after me in some time. I'll give you that. But I don't have a story to share. My family's worked Spacer's Choice for 2 generations, and I've lived in Edgewater just about all my life. Wanted to work in the sciences once upon a time. Would you believe it? That was a wild fancy. Glad I disabused myself.
So you had a dream of being a scientist. What happened?
What happened, you ask? What always happens when you're dreaming? I woke up. I just didn't have the brains for it. Asked too many questions. Wasn't suited to the work. So I did the right thing and worked the life I was always meant to live. Now that I'm behind a bar, I can ask all the questions I want. Important ones. Like, when are you going to pay your tab? And would you like another round of cold, refreshing 0G?
Asking questions is the foundation of science. The best scientists ask too many.
Don't talk to me that way, please. Spent many years disabusing myself of that notion. Don't need you putting it back in my head. Lab work ain't for me. Never was. Never will be. Spacer's Choice put me where I belong, and for that I am grateful.
You've been scrubbing dishes all your life?
What's wrong with that? It's good, honest work. Pots and pans don't scrub themselves. Glasses don't fill themselves either. Unless you're in Byzantium. I hear everything's automated there. Not that I'll ever find out.
Well, it sounds like Spacer's Choice took care of you.
They did. They gave me a life. Gave me a purpose. This is where I belong.
Thanks for the story.
Not so fast. I told you about my life. Your turn to tell me about yours. So, what's your story?
I'm still trying to figure that out myself.
What's there to figure out? Stands to reason you work for a company. You ain't Spacer's Choice. Could be you're with Auntie Cleo.
There's more to life than the company you work for.
That's exactly the kind of crazy talk that comes from an overabundance of sobriety. Well, good luck trying to figure yourself out. Sounds like you'll need it.
I was wondering if you knew anything about the Hope.
The Hope? No, I've never mixed a drink by that name. I could get you a rum and something if you like. Wait, no, never mind. We're all out of something.
I'm not talking about a drink. I'm from the Hope myself.
You feeling a bit flushed? Look, why don't you go set yourself down in the corner before you get all tangle-footed?
The Hope is out there somewhere with hundreds of thousands of other colonists.
Would you keep your voice down? You're gonna get the whole cantina written up. The Hope's folklore, all right? 60, 70-year-old folklore by now. The board don't approve of spreading seditious rumors and falsehoods. You're inviting trouble talking that way, and I don't want a part of it.
You sound scared.
Look, either shut your gob or stick a drink in it. We're done talking about this.
Never mind. So much for small talk. Let's see if anyone else in the cantina has some information for us.
Sorry, I got a lot to do. Just gotta keep our heads up.
Never seen you here before. You a visitor? Welcome. To, where am I again?
You're drunk.
What? No, I'm Winslow. Lester Winslow. Says so right on my permanent record.
Shouldn't you be working?
I am in no condition to do any work. Not so long as my injuries trouble me.
You were injured?
Yep. Got my mid stuck in a rotor wheel. Shredded my wrist up real good. Conrad went and sewed up my hand, but I couldn't do much about the pain. Boss was real generous to me, though. Got myself a 5% discount on Zero G Brew. After the second bottle, the only pain I feel is emotional.
You sound like you need a surgeon.
Hey, Conrad's a surgeon. Well, he's a barber. That's like surgery, but for your hair.
I'll leave you be. Just another example of what a bizarre planet we've landed on. Now we'll head over to the police station and see what kind of bounties we can pick up there and make some extra bits.
Seemed scary from the outside.
Let's have a chat with Constable Reyes.
Carry on.
Welcome to the Spacer's Choice Constabulary. We are Halcyon's leading brand in frontier justice. The office is writing up promotion. Purchase 3 criminal investigations and the 4th one's free.
I've got some questions for you if you don't mind.
As long as your questions fall within the acceptable margins of curiosity.
So who do you work for? Spacer's Choice or Edgewater?
If this is a setup to a joke, you should know I've never found anything amusing in my life. I don't serve Edgewater. Edgewater and the entire region of Emerald Vale serve Spacer's Choice.
Who does Spacer's Choice answer to?
Spacer's Choice is a wholly owned subsidiary of Universal Defense Logistics, which occupies a seat on the Halcyon Holdings Corporation, also known as the Board. I must admit it bothers me that you don't already know this.
There was one other thing.
Something to report?
If you need help with your marauder problem, I am for hire.
As a Spacer's Choice constable, I am authorized to grant you legal authority toward apprehending wanted criminals. Know how to carry yourself in a fight? I've got bounties out for these 3 marauders. Cross them off and bring me their fingers. Just 1 per marauder, please. I'll dust off the old fingerprint roller.
Fingers. You got it.
Been eating nothing but salt tuna for a year.
At least you got your health.
The 3 marauder bandit leaders that we're after, Guillaume Antrim, Bertie Cotton, and Doc Mabel, were actually once notable citizens in Edgewater. Doc Mabel was a former Spacer's Choice physician who allegedly abandoned her duties and disappeared from Edgewater.
Heard something outside the walls today.
Nothing for us outside those walls. You ought to know
Bertie
that.
Cotton is a former vicar acting on behalf of the OSI. He suffered a psychological breakdown upon showing symptoms of the plague and is considered at large and dangerous. Guillaume Antrim was a former Spacer's Choice Associate Mechanic who was terminated from his position.
That's the last of them.
Upon taking him out, we come across a curious wanderer named Zoe Chandler.
Wow, you crossed them all off, like some sort of heroic accountant running down a list. Teach me your ways.
You sound confused, or possibly unscrewed.
Only thing unscrewed around here is the head of that marauder you took down. Never seen moves like that outside my serial dramas. You, on the other hand, you were a sight to behold. If I had half your skills, I'd be the greatest outlaw the coast has ever seen.
I need you to clarify something for me.
I'm great at clarifying.
Are you a prisoner here?
No. I insinuated myself into their company, see? And they didn't seem to mind one whit.
I'm impressed. How'd you pull it off?
I may have bartered them a few boxes of Adrena time, but I'm sure that's got nothing to do with it.
How are you even alive?
I don't know. The vital processes that constitute the miracle of life are mysterious and unknowable. Oh, you mean around these guys? The Marauders wouldn't hurt me. They love me. I'm practically their queen. Yeah, must be my natural charisma.
Are you from Edgewater?
I got kicked out of Edgewater on account of falling sick with plague and stealing some medicine to treat myself. I'd heard some outlaws set up camp in the botanical labs. I decided to throw in with them, seeing as I always wanted to be an outlaw myself. Instead, what do I find but a bunch of former workers camped out around a greenhouse? I couldn't just go back to the cannery, so I was stuck with them.
There was something else, actually.
I've got all the time in Halcyon.
I'll be back. We'll have to ask the folks at the Botanical Gardens some questions about Zoe when we make it over there. But first, we need to collect our bounties.
Sometimes I wonder what I'm doing with myself.
Nothing I can do about that.
Something to report?
I'm here to turn in the bounties.
We pay by the finger. What do you have for me? Here we are. Bertie Cotton. Cause of death. Let's just say overwhelming physical trauma. Bert was the local preacher before Max took over. Always was quick to remind us that we all get what we deserve in the end. I'll just need your signature here, 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 and here. Got any more fingers for me?
Thank you so much for joining me in another episode of The Outer Worlds. Next up, we'll be headed to the Botanical Garden to talk to the deserters. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos, and leave a like down below if you enjoyed this one. Until the next one, Spacers, stay safe and happy wanderings.